I've got some big propaganda for the write what you know kind of advice. I'm a huge supporter of this advice. I should probably be a little less, because I should probably maybe actually do research and try to write outside of my own experiences, but I'm a little lazy. So I think it's really fun to write what you know because I mean, you know the stuff. So why not just put it in your story? Um, at one point in the beginning of the comic, Eli has a job where he is a secretary and he's super stressed at work. Um, and then I was like, well, I actually don't know how secretaries work, but you know what I do know? I know food service. So instead, I made him a fast food employee who's super stressed out because I was like, I know how to write that kind of stress. I don't really know how to write a secretary kind of stress. And it genuinely made his job more realistic when I was like writing. It's more realistic to use your own experiences, and it's also funnier because you're putting in stuff that genuinely happened to you, and it's especially funny when it's supposed to be as a joke. There's a scene where someone throws money at Eli, and I've definitely had someone throw money at me before, so I feel like it's kind of funny because it's it seems so crazy, but it's not crazy. Like some of the stuff that happens when you write what you know seems like it's just for a joke, but this is stuff that genuinely happens to people. I had a guy who he was wearing this maroon suit. I worked in a ice cream store. He was wearing this maroon suit, and he was like I don't know. He threw his dollar bills at me, and I had to catch it. And then I was trying to give him back his change, and he looked so disgusted that I was trying to give him back his change. It was like he was thinking you think I need this change? And he's like, no, just keep it. And so I was like, fine. And I put it in the change, the tip jar. It was just annoying because it was like, okay, dude, I'm just trying to do my job, and you're throwing money at me and getting disgusted with me asking the simplest question because you think you're better than me. That's just how it is working in a place that's very touristy. With a lot of rich people. Um, so I feel like writing stuff that you genuinely know makes it funnier because you can kind of go more in depth with it with the characters and it just feels more real. Um, I've used mannerisms and conversations I've had in real life, and then it helps make the characters more real. And I know I'm gonna keep saying that, but it genuinely does. If you're basing something off of something you don't have any experience with, how realistic is that really going to be? Unless you did a lot of research on it. But even then, you still don't have that experience. So it's just fun to kind of use your own knowledge on things. It just makes it easier to write. It always makes it so much easier to write. And it's just kind of fun. I have fun whenever I do that. Um, it makes my character May more realistic because she's based on a real person. It makes Eli and Tyler more realistic because I base them off of aspects of myself. Um, and then there's certain things I think about, like in arguments, people don't necessarily apologize immediately. They might come back later and apologize, but in the moment you're so built up with all this tension and anger that you don't really see what you're doing is wrong. Or sometimes you do. That's the thing. Arguments are very different. Sometimes you know that you're wrong, but you keep arguing because you feel like it's right. Versus sometimes you'll be arguing and you think you're right, but you're wrong, and you don't realize that until after the argument. So that's some stuff. Um, shut the fuck. Especially, oh my god, dream sequences. In dreams, things don't make sense. It's not just a narrative element, it's a real thing you go through, and making it weird, like a weird dream, a really weird dream, makes the sequence way more relatable and way more realistic. Um I like taking those dream sequences and really just like making them just like so weird, adding a touch of angst, a touch of plot, but then really just like focusing on how weird dreams are. Like you'll be in the dream and then someone gives you a banana and then you're like, "Wait, this is a mango now." And they're like, "That's just how it is." And it's just this weird thing where things are moving and it's not matching and people keep changing, and that's just kind of the energy you should bring into dreams, you know? And I wish people were less focused on dreams as like a narrative point and more focused on how funny dreams are, you know? My god, I'm never going to get past this, but um in Steven Universe Future, they do this whole dream sequence thing, and it's a really weird dream. It's a really weird one with like pineapples and like stuff like that. And it's like, I wish we would do that more, because here's what happens in dream sequences. It's very much like a oh, this is so realistic. Then something unusual happens, and then you're like, wait, this is a dream. And it's like, no, I want it weird from the beginning. It was kind of funny. We were watching House, and there's a scene where he has a dream about this guy he hates, and it's just like everything. It's like realistic, but there's certain things that are changed, and then you're like, oh, so this is a dream then, because there's like he's not limping anymore, and he's being really nice to the guy he hates, and there's like 30 minutes left in the episode, so we're like, oh, okay, so this is a dream actually, because there's no way that they somehow reconciled, you know? That's another example. It's more of a heading into realistic territory, but me personally, I really like just like a weird dream. Just a weird dream sequence that doesn't really make sense until you really start thinking about it, you know? Um I like when people put meanings, like there's all these meanings that people have associated with certain symbols and dreams. I really like that, because then if you put those symbols into the dream and then someone looks up those symbols, they're gonna know what you're really trying to convey in the dream sequence. And that is more telling than anything you can do narratively, because you can put way more symbols in it than you could actually write, you know? And it just makes it like kind of like a secret. It's like you're giving a secret to readers that only a few will see, because only a few of them are actually gonna like put in the work to like look that stuff up. But it's kind of like a secret code, you know? I went on way too long about dreams, but um, I think like basing villains like thought processes on people you know in real life with like complicated morality mindsets, that's a crazy example, but like I mean, people don't have villains in their life. They have people they hate or like people they have a problem with. So basing villains more so on that kind of makes it more like believable. It's like I had a whole rant about villains the other day, and I just keep thinking about villains, man. It's like it makes the villains less like one tone and less of like a stereotype if you kind of go more into like something based off of what you've seen in real life. It's less like I have to do this because of this, and it's more like, well, I think I have to do this because of these multiple things that have happened, you know? Um I'm also not an expert in dialogue, but in real life, people interrupt each other, people slip up, people make mistakes in dialogue, and I think it's interesting when writers do that, when they have them slip up and all that, they have them do all these mistakes, because, I mean, it's like it brings you to reality a little, you know? I don't know if it breaks immersion so much. Um, you'll see this like expert writers do this in Smiling Friends, where it's kind of awkward conversations. That's kind of the whole point of the show. It's just these kind of awkward conversations, and it's really fun to watch. It's fun seeing things based on real life put into something as silly as a cartoon, you know? So it's just fun to write from what you know. Um, and at the end of the day, of course, you can always research into things you don't know about. Like, you shouldn't base everything off of your real life because then you're not gonna get anything done. um, but also, writing from what you know is always an option and is always my first thing I go to. So, you know, that's all I have to say on that. Yeah, bye.